All right, so we have Quincy Jones, our good friend from the ZinFin Network, doing an opinion piece here for FinTech Magazine, talking about the real world use cases for NFTs in finance and trade. I love where Quincy has been going with the NFTs and explaining the real use cases, the real utility for NFTs, much more than just pixelated pictures of apes, penguins, and whatnot. So let's get into it. It says everywhere you look, from the art world to major businesses and even high profile celebrity merchandise, NFT technology is poised to change the nature of digital ownership forever. However, behind the fanfare of owning digital items is a much bigger and more important picture. NFTs are on the verge of completely revolutionizing trade finance and global commerce. Now, we know that that's what they're trying to do over at ZinFin and XDC, target that trade finance market that's valued at $19 trillion. There is the potential to tokenize a wide range of assets and connect real world finance or origination to the DeFi markets. Trade finance instruments such as fixed income products and investment notes can securely move along the blockchain in a manner that brings transparency, facilitates seamless settlement, and extends liquidity at the same time. Smart contracts eliminate intermediaries, reduce counterparty risk, and preserve the integrity of deliverables. We're talking about a new class of financial assets, as well as a significant overhaul to almost every payment system, financial service, and supply chain in the world, and it may be coming sooner than most think. This is what we're waiting for, Quincy. This is what we're waiting for. How NFTs can play into trade finance. NFTs are more than just JPEGs on a blockchain. They represent digital ownership. They are built upon smart contracts and blockchain technology. The same decentralized networks that power many popular cryptocurrencies, blockchain platforms are by definition trustless, highly secure, and offer completely verifiable data and immutable ledger history. Smart contracts, meanwhile, are self-executing, predetermined agreements that reside on the blockchain and redefine how the assets on the blockchain work. Leveraging this, NFTs can take any type of information, be it an image, a 3D model, a document, anything really, and give it a form of uniqueness and tangibility by making it cryptographically unique from any other batch of data, even if otherwise identical. This means that NFTs represent a fundamentally more useful form of digital information. The data encoded into an NFT cannot be altered, counterfeited, or in any way accessed by anyone, not in possession of the appropriate cryptographic keys. Even if an attacker should manage to steal an NFT, the history and destination would still be completely visible to everyone. You can also tokenize contract agreements themselves with liability NFTs and asset NFTs, which are created to show ownership of a given contract for the promiser, the party who makes a promise, and the promisee, the party who receives the benefits of the contract. And this is where it's at, guys. This is real estate, business deals, trade finance. This is where it's at right here. This is where real money's at. Even though there's plenty of money in the apes and all this, the pixelated pictures, this is where it's really going to go down. Think of the stock market, think of real estate. We have a lot that is yet to be tokenized. And it only makes sense for these markets to be tokenized. It'll bring efficiency to them, more security, right? Let's continue on. For business and trade finance, this opens up a whole new world of possibilities for handling sensitive data. More importantly, it provides a mechanism for creating compelling new products, IDs, payment rails, supply chain dynamics, and much more. Take, for example, using NFTs to create blockchain receipt that can track a product all the way from raw material acquisition to landing on a retail shelf. Every step of the process, every hand on the goods, every purchase or sale along the way would all be recorded immutably, better still with a minimum of human intervention. Trade finance also faces complex regulatory and supply chain procedures involving multiple moving parts and requires a great deal of trust. It is also a sector that remains highly susceptible to document fraud. NFTs can remove those barriers, eliminate fraud, and reduce reliance on a middleman by tokenizing assets and documents into a single immutable digital token. This not only stands to minimize the rate of illicit activity in trade finance, but it also means that companies stand to save money on overhead, wages, and human error. This is real use case. This is solving real problems for companies, enterprises, banks, and financial institutions, right? That they have $1 billion problems, right? So when I say, when you're looking at your bag, to consider what problem is that crypto solving and how big is that problem? When we look and we talk about these examples, we're talking about billion-dollar problems, trillion-dollar problems for the largest enterprises, banks, and financial institutions. Continuing on, NFTs can do even more. Redefining and streamlining how businesses operate is a significant first step, but there is a lot more that NFTs and smart contract platforms can offer to the trade finance industry. NFTs, for example, could allow startups to create digital representation of commodities and explore new models of raising capital through a frictionless system. Furthermore, the structure and transparency of blockchains makes it relatively easy for any entity to stay inside a regulatory framework once those frameworks are fully locked down. In fact, everything from debt management processes to the provenance of goods can be streamlined and verified using NFTs. The best part is it's already possible and happening. Blockchains like the XDC network are currently being tested for use as trade finance systems. In September, leveraging the XDC network, TradeTech, a trade finance distribution firm, executed one of the world's first complete end-to-end on-chain tokenized invoice finance transactions. The beginning of a new paradigm. While the basic technology and underlying principles already exist, there's still a lot of work to be done to set up more complex rails for moving these assets and building new protocols to ensure their continued veracity at every step in the system. Integration into existing financial firms, regulatory structures, and an overall greater education across multiple industries are similarly crucial if this shift is to become global. Many local governments and national politicians are already researching the potential, so there is already some momentum. Anything less, and the rollouts of these new products could be clumsier than they need to be. In any event, the possibilities they offer will more than likely be much more broadly understood at some point in the future, and a true renaissance in trade finance could occur. The only thing holding this back is for more players to recognize what is happening and seize the opportunity while it is still early. Great article. I got to give a huge shout out to Quincy Jones. If you guys aren't following him on Twitter and on YouTube, I believe it's YouTube's Coin Club Crypto. He's also on TikTok as well. If you haven't already watched the interview that I did with Quincy Jones a few months ago, definitely want to go check that one out. That was a great conversation. We talked about XDC, XRP, and the crypto space as a whole. I think that he offers a unique insight into crypto and how it's actually going to be adopted by enterprises, banks, and financial institutions. Instead of focusing on the hype, Quincy gets down into explaining how this technology actually works, why enterprises will need this type of solution. And we talked specifically about how XDC is poised to get adoption because of the hybrid blockchain that XDC is. It has that private public layer, just similar to what Ripple's doing with the central banks. They're creating that private layer, right? This is only going to increase the odds that we will see adoption by the banks, financial institutions. And when we have a trade finance market at $19 trillion, XDC and XinFin is definitely targeting a good chunk of money, a good chunk of business and industry. And like he's saying here, NFTs, it's much more than the JPEGs, right? We're looking for whole trade finance markets to be tokenized, commodities to be moved on blockchains, right? So I'm very excited to see where this space goes. And I think if you guys aren't already following Quincy, he's a must follow in this space.